This is Eat, Sleep, Invest, the marketing podcast for real estate investors to get more deals.
Absolutely. Well, and you're dealing with professionals who understand that. But then second, you're going to go on with a business plan to force appreciation, right? You can come in and hope it appreciates, right? And just say, hey, it's a great area. Let's hold it 10 years. I think it's going to go up. But that's not what we do. We go in with a specific business plan. We've identified an opportunity to increase the value. And then once we acquire that property, we're going to implement that business plan to drive rents. So it could be a combination of rent increases. How do you drive rents? Well, we're going to renovate the units. Maybe we're going to fix up the bathrooms, modernize them, fix up the kitchens, put in new appliances, change the flooring, change the light fixtures. We can go ahead and do all those things to make the property more appealing and increase rents and attract, higher leases there. The other thing we can do is look at the amenities. So we can play around with the amenities. Maybe we change the amenities. Maybe we add amenities. Maybe we can add some different fees or services to the resident. But we can also look at the expenses and say, hey, maybe we can bring in different vendors and get some of these costs down. Maybe we can challenge, some of these individuals or challenge some of these line items, and we can make some savings or make some reductions. So all those different things come into how you actually drive a more efficient business. And that's really the key thing. You are running a business when you invest in commercial real estate. The NOI, the net operating income, that income statement, that's what's key. And you want to have a strong business plan to increase that operations. Sometimes with the house, you're not really thinking of it as a business. You're thinking of it as, oh, I'm going to come in and make this kitchen really nice and make this bathroom really nice, and it should be worth X when I'm done. And maybe you're right, maybe you're not, right? But in this case, yes, we're using a similar mindset when we're thinking about renovations, but it's not really about making a nice bathroom. It's about understanding, what kind of rent can we get and how do we drive that NOI, and then putting together the right business plan that affords me the ability to do that.
Yeah, and they're really good points there. Now, let me ask you this. So you do a syndications. Like, what's your audience look like that is a really good fit for that?
Yeah, syndications are a great way to invest in real estate. I think the first thing is you have to understand that you are going to be passive. So if you're hands-on, you've been listening to everything Brian has said and you want to go out there and rip the day, this may not be the thing for you. I do have an alternative though. If you're that person, there is one way this could work. But generally speaking, if you're hands-on, you need to know everything. You want to be on site. You want to meet the contractor. This may not be the strategy. This is passive. This is for that busy professional, the doctor, the entrepreneur, the engineer, the IT sales professional. That person has a busy, demanding job who wants to use real estate as a tool, not necessarily as the next job or the next career for them. So if you have money, you're making money now, you want to expand that money, you want to invest it in income producing, appreciating assets, this is where syndication comes into play. Now, typically our deals and most operators, they will have minimum investments starting around $50,000 and going up. Sometimes it goes lower to $25,000, but usually $50K is what you see. So you need to be somewhat liquid to be able to invest that amount. But one thing that I have found is even for active investors, a lot of times they will invest in these syndication deals passively to offset some of the income they're making from their active deals. Or if they have like an IRA account or maybe a solo 401k or something like that, they may invest using those retirement funds. So those are two ways that you can still invest if you are an active investor, because you're somewhat limited in what you can do with those retirement accounts anyway. And then from a depreciation standpoint or a tax standpoint, the deals we typically do, they have some phenomenal tax benefits. Some of the laws are starting to change, but usually, or at least on deals we've seen, we've been able to write off almost half of the investment. So if you were to invest $100,000, that first year you're getting a negative K1 of like $50,000 that you're going to lose. So you can take that and you can apply that against other passive income gains that you have. And that's really a great tool for many investors. Now, I'm not a CPA, so you need to talk to your own CPA. Don't, take that for gospel. But you can understand why some active investors turn to syndications to help supplement some of what they're doing in their portfolio.
Yeah, and that's huge too. Even if it just takes you down to one tax bracket, like that's real money there.
Absolutely. And the thing too is if you're a real estate professional, you can take that, down the tax bracket. And if you have a spouse who maybe has a W-2 job, well, now you can take this across kind of your collective income, because if it drops you down lower, Well, now as you look at, the way you file your taxes jointly, it might take you down that tax bracket. So it's just one of those things where you want to talk to a tax professional, understand your situation, and then recognize, okay, what would need to happen for us to, save on our taxes? And maybe it's, hey, you need to show a loss of $20,000. And if that's the case, you want to know that sooner rather than later, right? You don't want to know that, early in the year when it's too late. But if you can find that out and then look for investments where you can show that paper loss, that's going to allow you to save more than just, that money on the taxes, but it's going to allow you the time now to invest in those different assets, not to have to pay these additional taxes. And it could be a great way for you to just put together a great tax strategy.
Yeah, I agree. Hey, different topic. What are you seeing on the marketing side for multis? You doing anything there?
Yeah, multifamily is interesting because on the smaller stuff, I think you can definitely do some great marketing tactics. Everything from direct to market or direct to owner campaigns, mailers. I get text messages like I feel like at least once a week for somebody trying to buy my property. So I know people are using the SMS. On the larger stuff though, it's not quite as effective. And part of it is when you're dealing with someone who owns 100+ units, they're usually not going to get a postcard and call you back and decide to sell it to you off of a postcard. There's a different level of sophistication. And going back to the professionalism, this is the downside. Well, if you've got a business where you got 100 residents, you've got enough income to hire a property management company, you're usually not in a distressed situation where you have to sell and you need to sell. So in that space, when you're going to the higher ones, you're usually now focused more on relationships. You're focused more on broker relationships, maybe introductions and connections to these owners. That's going to be more of the way you approach it. But I think at the 50 units and below, a lot of the good marketing tactics still work. So direct mail, SMS. I'm a big fan of finding ways to engage with people. So for instance, one tip that I love is if let's just say you're going to use direct mail. Yes, we can send them postcards saying, hey, I want to buy your property. Another great tip though is to say, hey, this property down the street from you is getting higher rents, or I've put together this report on rents for this area. If you want to check it out, download it here. Or maybe you host a meetup and you're inviting local investors in this submarket, local multifamily owners in this submarket to come and learn, what they should expect for 2023, right? But maybe you're doing something a little different than just asking them to sell their house, because many of them are very sophisticated. They're not going to be distressed. And you really have to build a relationship with these individuals, because some of them are mom and pop owners who've had it for 20 years, 30 years, and they want to sell to a person. They want to sell to somebody who they believe in, and they want to find somebody who maybe reminds them of them maybe 15, 20 years ago, as opposed to just listing it with the broker. Because that's what you're competing with, right? You're competing with, why not just list it with the broker who will sell it for top dollar? Why would I sell it with you? And that human component is probably going to be your best bet to get something off market.